When it comes to Egypt, most of us will surely think of the pyramid symbol that has existed for thousands of years. But few people know that this country is also famous for the most unique pigeon towers in the world. These towers were built in all areas of Egypt for the purpose of raising pigeons. So now, let's explore with us the unique way of raising pigeons of Egyptian farmers. These birds were prized for their meat, which was once considered a major source of protein for the Egyptian people. As a result, pigeon farming is still considered one of the most important industries in Egypt today. They are kept mainly in unique towers that you won't find anywhere else. The pigeon towers were carefully designed to house hundreds, sometimes thousands of pigeons. The towers were made of mud bricks, which helped to create a cool environment during Egypt's scorching summer days. Each tower has small niches, often meticulously crafted in rows, where pigeons can nest. These niches provide ideal conditions for pigeon breeding, ensuring a steady supply of birds, pigeons, and their byproducts. Depending on the region, farmers build different pigeon tower structures, but they all have the same function. Most are built in a honeycomb structure, allowing birds to easily fly inside. The towers are usually cylindrical or conical in shape, ensuring stability and ease of construction. Openings at the top of the tower allow pigeons to enter and exit freely, and the height of the pigeon towers also minimizes the risk of being attacked by predators such as snakes or wild birds. Farmers use different materials such as palm leaves and wooden sticks to create landing spaces for pigeons, making them comfortable to perch. This design also functions to make it easier for farmers to collect manure from the base of the tower, which can then be distributed to the fields as fertilizer. Millions of pigeons live in thousands of pigeon towers built across Egypt. Although the towers are more complex to build than closed pigeon farms, Egyptian farmers still commonly apply this form of farming because it has many unique advantages. Pigeons living in towers have been studied to have better welfare because they are free to fly and forage. One of the main reasons why pigeon towers flourished in Egypt was the use of pigeon droppings as fertilizer. Rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, pigeon droppings were considered superior to other fertilizers. Egyptian farmers used the droppings to increase soil fertility in the Nile Delta, allowing them to grow more abundant crops such as wheat, barley, and vegetables. The use of pigeon droppings became an essential aspect of Egyptian agriculture, especially after the annual flooding of the Nile. When the waters receded, farmers would apply pigeon droppings to their fields, ensuring that the soil remained rich for the next growing season. Pigeon farming and pigeon tower construction brought many economic and social benefits to the Egyptian people. First, pigeons are a relatively low-maintenance livestock option. They have few resources for food and shelter, but produce valuable products. This makes pigeon farming an attractive business for small-scale farmers, because it provides a steady source of income with little initial investment. Pigeon meat is highly nutritious and is commonly consumed by Egyptians of all social classes. Pigeon meat is often stewed, roasted, or dried for preservation. Pigeons are also traded in local markets, creating an economic source of income around these pigeon farms. In rural Egypt, pigeon farming has become a community activity, with families and villages working together to build towers and manage pigeons. Not only does it help the local economy, it also helps stabilize the lives of farmers. The construction of pigeon towers in ancient Egypt was a unique and diverse activity, closely linked to the agricultural, economic, and religious life of the country. These towers not only provided a reliable source of food and fertilizer, but also reflected the cultural and spiritual values of the Egyptian people. For farmers in Southeast Asia, toads are a nutritious and expensive delicacy. However, in Australia, they are considered an invasive species that must be eradicated. So, why don't Australians turn invasive toads into a valuable food item to make it easier to control them? Let's find out in this video. Cane toads were introduced to Australia in 1935 from Hawaii to control sugarcane pests, but due to favorable climate, the toad population grew rapidly. Over the past decade, cane toads have become one of the most destructive invasive species in Australia. Since their introduction, cane toads have spread throughout northern Australia, including Queensland, the Northern Territory, and parts of Western Australia and New South Wales. They continue to expand their range and spread at an estimated rate of 40 to 60 kilometers per year. To control this pest, Australian authorities have issued many measures to control them. One of the measures to control cane toads is to use traps. This is the most common method used by both professionals and community groups to kidnap sugarcane. Because traps can catch large numbers of cane toads in the wild, trapping toads is usually done at night because this is the time they are mainly active. Some hunters also use guns to hunt toads. Sounds unbelievable, right? This is completely true in Australia, but only a few hunters use this method because it is quite expensive, so it is not very popular. Although killing toads with guns is not easy, professional hunters can easily take down toads with just one shot. Trapping and cane toad capture are direct methods of control, often involving the large Australian farming community. Volunteers go out at night with lights and capture cane toads by hand. Once collected, the toads are humanely disposed of in accordance with animal welfare standards. So, what effects do cane toads have on agriculture and the livestock industry in Australia? Although cane toads were originally introduced to control agricultural pests, they have also become a pest. Cane toads do not significantly reduce insect populations, but instead cause problems for livestock, especially if animals come into contact with the toads or their toxins. In particular, livestock and poultry are also negatively affected by toad populations. Not only that, toads also affect feed storage areas, causing large amounts of livestock or poultry feed to spoil, causing a direct impact on the farm owner's economy. Cane toads eat a variety of insects and small animals, causing a decline in the food source for native species and disrupting local ecosystems. Cane toads secrete a potent toxin from their parotid glands that can be fatal to animals that attempt to eat them. Many native Australian predators such as snakes, lizards, birds, and even crocodiles have died after eating cane toads, leading to a decline in their populations. While cane toads are not a direct threat to human health, their toxins can harm pets and children who come into contact with them. Due to the above threats, cane toads are believed to have impacted indigenous communities, especially those who rely on hunting native wildlife for food and cultural practices. Measures to reduce cane toads have been applied by Australian farmers for nearly a decade, but have not really eliminated this species. Because cane toads are extremely difficult to eradicate due to their high reproductive rates, on average female toads can lay up to 30,000 eggs at a time, and in particular, they have the ability to adapt to many different environments. Therefore, the problem of controlling cane toads has become increasingly complicated and difficult. So, why don't Australians eat toads to reduce invasion? The main reason is that cane toads have toxins similar to pufferfish. This amphibian secretes a very strong toxin called bufotoxin, which is secreted from the salivary glands behind the eyes. This toxin can cause serious illness or death in most animals, including humans, if ingested. This poison affects the heart and can lead to cardiac arrest, making the consumption of cane toads extremely dangerous. Because of their toxicity, Australians do not dare to eat them. But, in contrast to Australians, toads are a favorable dish of Vietnamese people and some Southeast Asian regions. Vietnamese farmers are very skillful in processing toads. They know how to remove the toxins and process them into delicious dishes. Vietnamese people have eaten toad meat for decades. This is a quite expensive dish and is considered a specialty in many regions. Even the number of toads in the wild has decreased sharply because they are used as food. According to research, toad meat contains higher amounts of protein and zinc than other types of meat such as beef and pork. So, it is used to improve the health of people and children with rickets, malnutrition, and slow growth. Specifically, in 100 grams of toad meat, there are 55.4 grams of protein and 65 milligrams of zinc. However, to prepare toads into a dish, the processors need to have experience in preparing them because they are no different from the Japanese pufferfish dish. The toad's internal organs and skin are carefully removed to avoid harm to health. If Australians knew how to process toad meat, surely they would not have become an invasive species, right? Our video today is over. How do you feel about the video? Please leave a like button, subscribe, and comment to support our channel. And now, goodbye and see you all again.